We are black, we are beautiful, we are balanced. Say it with me. We are black, we are beautiful, we are balanced. Okay?
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Pierre Javon, and welcome to another episode of Black, Beautiful, and Balanced. Okay, so I am back, like I said, for part 2. So the first video that I did recently was about my birth story. If you haven't watched that, go check it out. And this one is about my postpartum journey. So postpartum, first off, let's start off. It's ghetto. Let's cut straight to the chase. No chaser, period. And this time around, I've had a different experience for sure than my first child. And we're just gonna get into it and talk about it. So I made a little list so I don't forget some things that I want to talk about. So let's start off with the physical. So postpartum physically is what I think a lot of people who haven't had a kid think about, and maybe men think about. So you have the physical. I would say for me, I had a better post-delivery recovery, situation. I felt more like myself quicker, like I wasn't as like sore and uncomfortable. But then you still have the other physical changes, like I'm breastfeeding and your boobs are huge and they hurt, or just the way your weight is distributed. All those type of things feel like play into the physical part of it. And then one good physical thing I had was that I used to have dry spots that came from my last pregnancy on my face, dry, light, white, like scaly spots, and they went away after this pregnancy, and fingers crossed they stay away. And like my dermatologist told me that pregnancy, your immune system fluctuates so much, so it very well could be done, or I could see them come back postpartum later on in postpartum, but for the most part they've been gone since I had her, so I'm thankful for that. But physically, I would say that I had a better experience with my second child. Now, with that being said, my mental for postpartum, my emotions, my feelings are and were kind of tough to deal with. I would say for me, and I don't know, it's hard for me to, I don't want to separate it because I feel like it's all the same. Postpartum, when you already have a child, like I feel like a toddler at that has exasperated things. I think when I had a moment where I felt like my daughter was sick before I had my second child, so we were recovering from that. She was still sick. She was like kind of throwing up. It was a lot of things going on, and I felt like a breather when she went to daycare, when she did go back to daycare, because she was out of daycare for a while. But then still like almost like I was robbing myself of the newborn experience this time, because I wasn't able to like be in the honeymoon obsessive phase, because I really was just trying to get by. And that kind of made me feel a little guilty, like not like I was waiting on a connection or anything, but like I just wanted to be all in to the baby, and I couldn't be all in. And that was hard for me to like sort out. And then on top of that, just literally dealing with a toddler mentally is a lot. So it's like when you have just a baby, you get to, I hate to say it, sleep when the baby sleep. If you want to, you get to do this when the baby sleep. You only have one other factor. With a toddler, I mean, flip my world upside down. I know people talk about going from 1 to 2 is harder, or 2 to 3 harder. I don't got 3, don't plan on having a 3 child. But 1 to 2 definitely like rocked me. I can see why people have another one. Like, okay, my life already upside down, might as well have another one. But no, I'm not doing that. But I can see the chaos, just letting the chaos continue, let the sleepless nights continue. But 2 kids coming from 1 kid to me was a shocker. And almost so that I'm like, dang, we was living a good life with 1 kid. Like, we didn't know how good we had it. Almost that's kind of how I feel a lot of days. Like, so much other stuff I wish I would have did, and I can't even really think of what it would be, but it's just kind of like, dang, I didn't know how good I had it. But 2 kids is definitely more tiring, because at the end of the day, you up all night with a newborn or off and on, and I'm not saying my baby is like crazy fussy or nothing like that, just normal up, feeding, changing diapers, whatever, and then the 3-year-old hit the ground running at 7 a.m., sometimes 6 a.m., and it's like, whoa. You sitting over here looking like that fox. You know what I'm saying? Like literally hanging off the side of the bed looking like the fox. Crazy. Just trying to get your bearings for the next day. And that's another thing that really got to my mental. The day was ahead of me. I felt like I was so behind. Like the day was just starting and I was just tumbling into it. Like, and trying to, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, where am I? you know, especially getting my daughter up for, you know, daycare now. Me and my husband, you know, we try to split the responsibility, like legit. Like you take her, because I just probably went to sleep at 5 this morning or whatever. But it's like my daughter don't care. She want to talk to me. She want to see the baby. She want to, you know, want me to go take her to daycare. She want me to get her shoes on, you know, stuff like that. So I milked it for, I would say 3 weeks. I was like, I'm not getting out the bed in the morning. I would get out the bed and say goodbye to her, give her a kiss and stuff, but I couldn't do all the getting ready and the lunches and all that type of stuff. And it was sad. Sometimes, like, dang, oh my God, I don't want to get out the bed. Then sometimes it was sad because I did want to get out the bed. Oh, no, baby, mommy can't, you know, whatever. And my daughter had a hard time adjusting as well. So that was a whole nother piece of mom, mental guilt, stress. I can't even, like, explain was on my heart about my child adapting to me having another child. So I'm trying to consider all her feelings when my feelings might be, you know, in the pit of my stomach type of thing. But I think the feelings that I had this go around were definitely exacerbated. They were definitely worse, for lack of a better phrase. Still, you know, working through them. I had a lot of, like, I guess you call it anxiety when you wrote about the future, but the way I want to say it is, like, I had a lot of, like, foreshadowing even before I had her, like, just because you know what you're getting into. So it's like, oh God, I'm not gonna get to, you know, lay down no more. Oh God, I'm gonna have to go through this phase again. Oh God, that, you know, just knowing what you're getting into is kind of like, it can take over your mind. Knowing that the finish line is this far away, or she'll start sleeping at this time, like that, it can be comforting, but it also can be discouraging, you know, especially when you're in the thick of it. What else? Okay, let's get into the other physical things that are really, let's go back to the physical. The hair thickening. I don't know if you can see, but this is why, among other reasons, why baby girl is wearing a wrap all the time. I also lost my hairdresser. I mean, you know, she's still doing hair, but she's not here, so I lost her. But my hair is thinning again. I ain't got that much hair, so it's really kind of like, seriously, let me keep it. But literally, I run my hands through my hair, and it's just all little hair is on my hands. It's not cute. But we're making it work. You know, who needs hair? Who needs hair? For what? I cut it all off anyway. You know, that's what I keep telling myself. So the hair thing is happening again. I would say it happened at the exact same time as last time, maybe a little sooner, maybe 3 weeks sooner. But I would say overall, those are my biggest, like, physical issues, or physical, you know, woes right now. My knees just start hurting. I don't know if that's postpartum my age, but I've never really had bad knees. Like, you know, I would be tired after doing some, like, young girl stuff, but, like, my knees were not physically hurting while I was doing it. And now, girl, my knees is creaking. And I felt like for a dancer, a 36-year-old former dancer, I was doing pretty good. But my God, today, you know, hopefully I'm going to get back exercising and maybe they'll be a little better. But they is like, it's giving real Tin Man. Slide some oil to me. But anyway, other struggles that I have encountered postpartum, the main one that will infuriate me to my core is the responsibility of breastfeeding. There is nothing like the day being over, you have survived bedtime, cooking dinner, clean the kitchen, all the things, and you got to sit down and pump before you lay down. And you know you got to pump. Not only do you have to pump to keep your milk supply, but you have to pump so that you can lay down comfortably, because you're going to regret if you don't pump. And then you still have to get up. You still have the uncomfortableness or the urge to get up at 2 in the morning if your baby don't get up because your boobs are full. Like, pumping can guarantee you is majority of postpartum rage. Like, it is, and then it's like so much resentment on everyone in the house who doesn't have to pump. How about the people that don't care if you gotta pump, like my Tyler? How about the people who don't have to pump, like my husband? It is like and then it's the stress of breastfeeding itself, because you need to pump to empty your boobs to signify that your body should reload, and if your baby didn't eat off this boob, it's a whole other job, a whole other mind game. And I think people who overproduce, I'm not saying I want that, because I don't want to be where I can't sleep through 2 hours. But it's like so much just to keep up with breastfeeding that it is enough to drive you crazy when you are trying to do good for your child. Like, I think breastfeeding is just way too complicated. And I breastfed my first child for 8 months, not exclusively. I started pumping exclusively at 3 months. And then we ended up introducing formula maybe at 6 months. So it was like formula and breast milk. But ultimately, I quit completely pumping at 8 months or 9 months, 8 or 9 months. But it's just a full-time job, and you just can't help but think, what was I doing with all this time before? Getting up first thing in the morning to pump. You know, and now as my child gets older, you know, the wake windows are getting longer, and being an exclusive pumper rules your life to continue to feed her, but she might be, you know, crying, want to be held, or, you know, whatever. So it's like, it's very hard to pump too when you don't have the support. And it's not that I don't have the support, but like, you know, my husband is working, so like I don't always have him to help me if I do need to pump. But it's like, it's just a lot. And I see people on TikTok talk about it all the time, like, how did y'all pump? Like, people were like, they gave up on pumping. They just continue to do contact breastfeeding because pumping was just too much of a responsibility, and they couldn't handle other children. And that, like, I completely get it. Personally, we had a way better breastfeeding experience this time. I know I sound really negative, but we did. She latched really well. I didn't have a whole lot of pain. I feel like me and my first daughter, we never really got the hang of it. We were doing it, but it was just like, who we kidding, girl? Like, fake it till you make it. Like, she was eating, I was feeding her, but we was not comfortable. Like, I was not the girl pumping and eating at the same time. Like, it was like a whole thing. All right, let's pump. Let's eat. Let's sit down. Let's get ready. You in position. You good. Don't move. Don't yank. It was a whole thing. It was a dance. But this time, I feel like we had a good rhythm for a while. I would say I'm exclusively pumping now. If she was to wake up in the middle of the night, I probably would feed her my boo, but she doesn't. And so now I'm like kind of just getting sad because I just said that out loud. So that means I fed her for the last time and I didn't know it. Maybe a week ago? A week and a half ago? Oh, that's over. See how little things just happen? And what a toxic cycle breastfeeding is. It is the most stressful, annoying thing you could deal with, but it's the most rewarding thing for your child or for you. And then when your milk supply starts going down like mine is, you feel a way about that, but then you also feel resentful and angry that you have to do it, but then you feel grateful that you can't do it. It's such a toxic cycle because at the end of the day, I want the power. I want to take it away and say, I'm not breastfeeding no more. I don't want my milk supply to tell me. So that's motherhood in a nutshell right there. That roller coaster of breastfeeding, that just continues. At least that's my experience, and I've only been a mom for 3 years, but that's my experience. Anyway, let's move on. One big thing, I want to talk about how tired I have been. I'm getting better or used to being tired or whatever it is, but I think that the chronic tiredness is not talked enough about, and I am kind of like appalled, dare I say, whenever people want someone to have a child or like ask them when they want to have a child. I think it's like you asking somebody when they want to start a business. When do you want to? Don't you want to do something full time all day, all night long? Like what? It is a big responsibility. It's a big to do. Even the nights where you like, oh, I'm so tired, I'm gonna lay down. You may not lay down. You might lay down and have to get right back up. You might lay down, somebody gets sick. You might lay down, and like it's so many unknowns to your sleep pattern for the beginning of parenting. I cannot believe people ask women, aside from the physical bearing a child, having a child, I cannot believe people ask people when they want to have kids when you know what they're gonna be dealing with, what they're gonna be giving up. Like, I am chronically tired. I mean, I know I don't look it. No, I do look tired. But, I am chronically tired. This is a PSA. Please, y'all. Stop telling these people to have kids. Or stop asking them when they're having kids. Like, among other reasons, stop asking them. Okay. Okay. Now, let's lean into the positive, y'all. So, with the being tired, I have decided to really lean into this season. So, as I said, that feeling that I was having about, like, anticipating the challenges coming, or oh God, I won't get to sleep until then, oh gosh, I have to do this until then. I started telling myself I'm going to lean into this season. So for instance, the best example I could give is like when she was waking up the most, I would say a grateful prayer. I would say, thank God my baby has woken up. The fact of the matter, people lose children all the time. Thank God my baby is waking up. When I was cluster feeding, thank God she's hungry. Thank God I can supply her food. When my daughter was, going through her transition, I started saying, thank God I'm here to help her maneuver this. Thank God she gets to have a little sister and have a bond, hopefully, that me and my sister have, like kind of changing the narrative of things. Now, I don't mean I wasn't like wore out, but it helped me mentally to do that sometimes. But also I'm leaning into the season of right now taking advantage of, if I get a break, take the break. If I need if I can do a video today, I'm gonna do the video today. I'm not like looking so far ahead. Today was my first day going back to the gym, y'all. My daughter is 4 months today. First day going back to the gym. I don't know if I'm going back tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going back on Wednesday. I would like to, but I had to stop thinking I'm going to start working out at this date, because that was this big to do of working out 2 days a week, working out 3 days a week, getting up in the morning, whatever it was. I'm just today. We're leaning into today and we're working out. So I've just really been trying to lean into this season that I'm in, knowing that I won't be living this life forever. But I think it's kind of shifted my perspective on a lot of things, if that makes sense. I think altogether, postpartum is a very unique time to maneuver, and if you haven't been through it, you don't know. From every level of it, you don't know. I know people have suffered from very bad postpartum depression. Some people have an amazing postpartum experience. I think a lot of it depends on your support system, your partner. I used to say that after my first child, I know why people break up after they have a baby. Like, it is extremely hard for a woman to maneuver, especially if she's never done it before. It's hard to manage. And a man who doesn't want to help her manage or lend her a helping hand or give her grace or try to understand and just looks at her that she's just crazy will drive you over the edge, and it will drive him away. No, like, neither one of them will want to deal with each other. Like, I'm not going to deal with a man that doesn't understand this, and he's not going to deal with a woman who got an attitude and crying about so-and-so. So it's like a very big disconnect between a man and a woman. But I also think it makes all the difference when you have a man who does just as much as he can. If you're breastfeeding, changing diapers and waking up in the middle of the night, or cooking dinner and doing just helping the load. Like, I think that makes a huge difference. I think postpartum a lot is about who is helping you. My mom has been amazing. My sister, friends, even friends that you just vent to. I know a lot of people complain about people when you have a baby coming over and you feel like you have to entertain. And you come to see the baby, are you coming to help? That type of conversation. I don't have those issues, and I only say that because I'm just not that person in real life. I have a strong personality, and I don't want to say strong boundaries, kind of like that word, but I'm never this person that's like, that really deals with stuff like that. But I can see how people do deal with it, and I would, understand. I think my only thing would be, that you have to put yourself first. And if you have a supportive partner who can echo those sentiments to you, to your family, to friends, to the doctor, to whoever, and speak up for you, I think that always helps. But I think all in all, postpartum, it is talked about a lot now, but I just think it's still just such a deep topic that it's hard to explain and help people with if you have not been through it. And that's just really, like, sad to say, but that's just what it is. But I wanted to talk about my postpartum experience because I feel like that was only fair since I talked about my birth story. I mean, postpartum is what I'm living in right now. And I think that America has a problem. People go back to work way too soon. It's too much to bear. And we can do a whole nother story about that. But I just would love to say that if you are on a postpartum journey right now, give yourself grace. Carve out little spots and times for yourself. I don't care if you just go walk outside. Please go walk outside, y'all. Please go for a walk. Don't take the baby. Take yourself. Just go outside, get some sun, walk outside, get some fresh air. Go get a little snack, eat your lunch in your car, get a minute. Take it for yourself. Go get your toes done. This time around, my friend even told me I'm so good with the self-care, and it's like, girl, I'm going to get these toes done. I'm going to get a facial. I'm going to get a massage. Like, I'm doing these things. Like, am I always excited? Sometimes I'm tired. But it's like, you got to take advantage of, because the baby going to be here, child. The diaper's going to be here. These things going to be here when you get back. So go ahead and just take a little time for you. I would love for y'all to let me know about your postpartum experience in the comments. What has shocked you the most about postpartum? I would say the most shocking thing for me, sidebar, is how quickly you are expected to not be postpartum. I could leave that there. Like, postpartum is a very long journey. I remember my daughter was 15 months, 17 months. I remember saying, I'm starting to feel like myself again. And myself, not the same person, but just started to feel good again. So it's kind of like crazy that people would be like, not looking at you as just having a baby just because your baby is 8 months. And it's like, the child, please. Because the sleep regressions, things is happening. So postpartum really is a lengthy process because it's always changing and things are always happening. But that's all I want to say about postpartum. I may be talking about some more stuff if people have something they want to ask me or talk about, or if I get any like inspiration from this video, like with the engagement that I get. But be sure to like, comment, subscribe to my channel, because Black, Beautiful, and Balanced is really where I'm at now. I love to talk about what's going on in my life, my perspective when I have the time, and I want y'all to be tuned in to whenever the new videos come up. So share this video if you can, and thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
We are Black, we are beautiful, we are balanced. Say it with me. We are Black, we are beautiful, we are balanced. Okay?